Today, I'll show you how to make a smart door sensor using ESP32. It connects to Wi-Fi, gets time from the internet, and automatically logs every open and close to Google Sheets. In this video, we'll be using an ESP32S3, a surface mount magnetic reed switch, a breadboard, some jumper wires, but I'll be using the wires they included in the package. This is a magnetic switch kit. It's also known as a surface mount security system that you'd find on doors and windows. It's basically a smart on-off switch that knows when a window or a door opens or closes. It has two parts. It's got a magnet, which would be mounted on the moving part, like the door, and then it's got a reed switch, which would be mounted on the frame. It's the part of the sensor with the wires coming off of it. So when the door is closed, the magnet sits next to the switch and everything is normal. But when the door is open, the magnet will move away and the switch detects it, and it can trigger an alarm, turn on a light, send a phone alert, or in our case, it's going to log each open and close to Google Sheets. Inside a reed switch is a tiny glass tube. The reed switch in our sensor has three contacts: a common, a normally open, and a normally closed. I believe that my specific sensor has the normally closed and normally open labels reversed, so it behaves opposite of what you'd expect, and I'll show you what I mean here. I have one LED connected to normally closed and then one LED connected to normally open. The LED that's lit up is connected to normally open. So normally open means that normally when the switch is unaffected by a magnetic field, the switch is open and it doesn't conduct electricity, but when you bring a magnet close enough, it'll activate the switch, the contacts will close and current flows through it. The yellow LED is connected to NC, or normally closed, and that means that normally when the switch is unaffected by a magnetic field, the switch is closed and conducts electricity, but when you bring a magnet close enough, it'll deactivate the switch, the contacts will separate, and current stops flowing. That is the opposite of what we just saw here, but what I do have is a 2-lead normally open reed switch, and what you'll see is initially it is open, meaning electricity is not flowing, but if I bring a magnet close enough, the reeds will close and electricity will flow, and the LED will light up. As you can see, our door switch operates in the opposite way, which is fine. You can switch terminals or change your code. It is good to know this so that it doesn't cause confusion when you're setting up your own project. Now that I've shown you why I think our sensor is mislabeled, I want to show you the correct way it should operate when connected to ESP32. And in fact, this will be in agreement with what was posted on the product page on Amazon where I purchased it. The GPIO20 is connected to the normally open terminal, or NO. So when the door closes, the magnet pulls the reed switch shut, and that connects COM to NO. And because COM is tied to ground, and the NO is tied to the GPIO20, or pin 20 on the ESP32, that completes a path from the pin 20 to ground, so the pin reads low, or 0 volts. So in an accurate scenario, low would mean door closed. Now the door is open, so as the magnet moves away, the reed switch releases, COM disconnects from NO, normally open, and connects to normally closed, the NC. And because pin 20 is wired to NO, that terminal is now floating, so there's no path to ground. The ESP32's internal pull-up pulls pin 20 high to 3.3 volt, so in an accurate scenario, high would mean door open. Here, pin 20 is connected to NC terminal instead of NO, so when the door is closed, the magnet activates the reed switch and COM connects to NO. And because pin 20 is on NC, that terminal becomes open, so there's no path to ground, and the ESP32's internal pull-up resistor pulls that pin high to 3.3 volt. Here, pin 20 remains connected to the NC terminal, so when the door is open, the magnet moves away and the reed switch connects COM to NC, and this allows pin 20 to connect to ground, so the pin reads low, or 0 volts. Even though we're not connecting to the NC terminal, both configurations do work, they're just inverted from each other. We have a simple connection between the ESP32 and our sensor. We're connecting pin 20 to NO and ground to common. The sensor kit that I purchased is a 2-set kit, and it comes with double-sided sticky adhesive pads for mounting, as well as screws. You can screw it into the wall if you want. I just used the adhesive pads so that I can remove it easier and didn't make a hole in the wall. It also comes with plenty of wire, and I just stripped that down and I wrapped it around the screw, the terminal here, and well, as you can see, the magnet is attracted to the screwdriver that's included in the case. I stripped enough insulation from the wire to get a good wrap and contact around the screw and the plate, and I just screwed that down. This code is basically a Wi-Fi enabled door sensor for ESP32. It watches a magnetic contact switch, figures out when the door opens or closes, and sends a timestamp plus how long the door stayed open to a Google Sheet through a web request. At the top of the code, the only things you really need to change are the Wi-Fi name and password, the Google script URL, and which pin your sensor's on. Everything else there is just set up for Wi-Fi, time syncing, and HTTPS support. In the setup, the ESP32 connects to your Wi-Fi and tries to sync the time from the internet so that your logs have real timestamps. It also reads the initial door state so that it knows whether the door started out open or closed. Then the loop runs over and over. It watches the read switch with a little debounce delay so that it doesn't react to electrical noise. And whenever the door actually changes state, open to closed or closed to open, it logs the time, it figures out the duration if needed, and prints it to the serial monitor and sends it to Google using a simple post request. Now we're going to set up the web service. So we go to the Google email and we click on Google Apps up here, all the dots here. Scroll down to Sheets. We're going to create a blank spreadsheet. You can see down here my previous sheet that I have, and you can click on that to open up the previous web service. So we're going to create a new spreadsheet. We're going to fill in the top row with date, device, time, state, and duration. We're going to go up here to extensions. We're going to click on Apps Script, and this is where our code will go. This code is a tiny web service that takes data from the ESP32 and writes it into a Google Sheet. At the top, you set which spreadsheet and sheet name you want to use, and you can also add security key if you want, but I'm the only one using this. If you share it, you might want to add a security key. Now, when the ESP32 sends a post request, the script pulls out the timestamp, device name, door state, and duration. It splits the timestamp into date and time, and then appends a new row to the sheet. There's also a simple get handler. It's just to confirm the script is running, and a test function you run once to give it permission to access your spreadsheet. At the top of the Google code, you're going to see that you need to add the spreadsheet ID in between these parentheses right here, and you get that by clicking on the spreadsheet tab. And it's going to be the section of letters and numbers right in the middle of your URL between two forward slashes. You're going to copy that from here, and then we're going to paste it into the code right here. Now we also need to get the sheet name. We're going to paste that right in between these parentheses. Go to the spreadsheet. We're going to title the spreadsheet, title it whatever you want. I'm going to do sheet 7. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back over to the tab here with my code. I'm going to paste it right in between these parentheses for the sheet name. After you've done that, you want to be sure to click save. You want to save your project to the drive. And now we're going to go up here to the deploy button. We're going to hit the drop down menu. We're going to add a new deployment. And now to bring up this section here, we're going to select type. It's going to be a web app. Under description, I'm just going to type sheet 7. For the web app, it's going to be execute as me. That's my email. Under who has access, I'm going to select anyone and then deploy. I'm not sharing this with anybody. It's just going to be me, so it's considered unsafe. I want to authorize. I want to select my email. You're going to get this little notification here. Click on advance. I'm going to click on unsafe because it is unsafe, but again, I'm not sharing with anybody. Scroll down here, click continue, and it has been deployed. At this point, you want to be sure to copy the web app URL because you're going to use that in the ESP32 code. So go ahead and copy that and then click done. Now we're going to go over to our ESP32 code. We're going to scroll up here and we're going to paste the URL right in between these parentheses right here, and it's going to end in /exec. And also make sure you don't add spaces in between the parentheses. So now we've plugged in our ESP32, connected our switch sensor. We're going to come up here and select our board. If you need to do that, select the correct board and port in this window right here, and then we're going to upload, and it may take just a minute to upload. Alright, once it's uploaded, we're going to go back to Google Sheets. You see up in the top left it says sheet 6. I'm using a previous deployment with a different sheet ID and sheet name, but it should match what you put in your code. As you can see, when I remove the magnet, it's like the door is open, so this is open. On my sheet here, when I close it, it says closed, and then it gives me a duration of the time open. So that's all you got to do to connect it and get it working. Don't forget to join the email list for the code and diagrams if you're interested in that. And yeah, I hope this is helpful for you. That's all I've got for today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like it by clicking a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you enjoy this type of stuff. And I'll see you again with another video.